I would now like to introduce the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada.
Merci.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much.
I know I can't be the first one to say this, but this House looks so good with 338 women in these seats. It's something we should all note and aspire to collectively as a society. Happy International Women's Day, and I'm so glad that I and all the other leaders who are here with us today get to spend some of this important day with you. I want to start by recognizing all the important leaders in this House who are here now, MPs, senators, business leaders, community leaders, as well as the great leaders who just came before, Rona Ambrose and Elizabeth May, particularly for being strong examples of women in leadership positions in politics. We need more of them. And I want to also start by recognizing someone who is extraordinarily important to me and who is here with me today, and that's my wife, Sophie. I have said many times that being with Sophie makes me a better leader. It makes me a better Prime Minister. She challenges me and grounds me, reminds me every day to be open, both open my eyes, open my heart, and to be engaged in the things that really, really matter. And that's an important reflection, and I'm glad that she challenges me and makes me better every day. But on this International Women's Day, I need to recognize that I would not be here as a person, a man, even in this House, if it wasn't for the guidance and the strength and the support that Sophie has given me over these past 15 years that I've known her. She has shaped the person I am and the service I give with everything I do, and she is an intrinsic part of everything that I do in this House and across the country, because I couldn't do it without her. Merci, Sophie. Now, as you know, this year brings us closer to an important historical milestone. It's not only the 150th anniversary of Confederation, it's also been 100 years since some Canadian women were granted the right to vote. Some, not all. In my home province of Quebec, women didn't have full voting rights until 1940, and it took another 2 decades after that for Indigenous women living in Canada to receive the same opportunities. My point is, advancing the democratic rights of women in Canada has always been a work in progress. It's still very much a work in progress. You'll see that for yourself in just a little bit when you have a chance to meet with your own members of Parliament. In 2015, with the election of this House, more women than ever before were elected to serve, 88 in total. But that still represents just barely more than a quarter of the seats in this place. In Canada, women and girls make up just over half the population, but only a quarter of federally elected decision makers. It doesn't add up, and it needs to change. To put things in context, there are 338 women sitting in these seats right now. That is more than in the entire history of Canada that have been elected women MPs. There have been 315 women MPs elected in the history of Canada, and there are 338 of you here right now. We have an awful lot of ways to go, but thank you. Je sais que c'est notre responsabilité à tous
I
de
know
faire
that
en
it's
sorte
our
que ça
common
change.
responsibility to
Pour ma
ensure that
part,
this
je voulais
changes.
m'assurer que
For my
notre
part,
gouvernement
I
montre
wanted to
l'exemple.
ensure that
Nous nous
our
étions
government
engagés
does
à
the
avoir un
example.
cabinet
We had
paritaire
undertaken
et nous
to
avons
have
tenu cette
equal
promesse.
representation of women
Vous
in our
savez
cabinet,
probablement
and
déjà ce que j'ai
we
répondu
held true to
lorsque
this
je me
promise.
suis fait demander pourquoi
When I was
nous
asked
avons pris une telle
why
décision.
we had
Mais
decided to proceed
il y a
this
plus à
way,
dire que juste on est en
I
2015 ou on
said
est en
that we were in
2017.
2015,
Au cours des premiers jours
17
suivant la
now, but there's
formation
more
du
to be said
cabinet,
than that.
la décision de
After
nommer un
our
cabinet paritaire a suscité
group
beaucoup de
was
critiques.
formed, the decision
Les
to
chroniqueurs
name
et
as
les gens
many
qui commandent sur
ministers
Internet se
were
faisaient
women
un
as men
plaisir de répéter
was
que les
criticized.
nominations au cabinet
Pundits and people who
devaient
were
être
commenting on the
basées
internet
sur le
would
mérite.
repeat that
Eh bien,
merit
les
should be
nominations
the
au
reason
cabinet
for choice, not
étaient
being a woman.
basées sur
Well,
les
I
mérites.
assure you that merit was the basis of our choice.
Effectivement, ce que je dis, c'est que les hommes dans mon
Indeed,
cabinet
what
sont
I'm
chanceux
saying
que j'ai
is
garanti
that
50-50, parce que
the
sinon on
men are
aurait eu plus
lucky
de
that
femmes au cabinet.
guaranteed 50% of the seats to them of the departments to them. Otherwise, we would have had more women.
Les femmes que nous avions choisies pour
women
servir
whom
au
we
sein du cabinet
chose
étaient
to
toutes aussi
serve as
qualifiées
ministers
que
were
les hommes qui avaient
as
été
fully
choisis et encore
qualified as
plus.
the men we
Et le
chose, and
travail
perhaps
qu'elles
even more
accomplissent
so.
depuis
And the work
en
that
est
they
la
have
preuve.
accomplished since
La politique
is
est un
the
travail
clear proof
d'équipe,
of this.
mais c'est grâce au
Politics is
leadership des
teamwork,
femmes,
but it's thanks
de
to
3
the
ministres qui
leadership
sont femmes
of
en
women,
fait,
of the
que
three
nous avons lancé
ministers who are
l'enquête
women,
nationale
that
sur les femmes et les
we
filles
launched the
autochtones
national
disparues ou
investigation
assassinées.
into
Et c'est une femme,
missing
Chrystia
and
Freeland,
murdered
qui a permis la conclusion d'une entente
Indigenous
commerciale
women
majeure
and girls,
avec
and it
l'Union
was
européenne.
a woman,
Et c'est
Chrystia
grâce au
Freeland,
leadership
who
de Catherine
really
McKenna
settled
que le Canada a
the,
maintenant un cadre
agreement,
pan-canadien en
trade agreement
place
with Europe,
pour lutter
and
contre les changements
it's thanks to a
climatiques,
woman
le plus grand
that we
enjeu
now
auquel votre
have
génération et les générations
appropriate
futures
approach
vont
to
faire
climate
face.
change, the
As I
greatest
said, more
challenge to the future.
representation of women in Parliament is a work in progress. We know it's going to take a lot of effort on the part of government, of advocacy groups like Equal Voice, and active and engaged citizens like all of you. And that's the good news. It really is. I know when young women like Ariane Morin-Aubu, who's from my riding of Papineau, sitting right there in a very good seat, where we need more women. The Right Honourable Kim Campbell is here as well, but we need more women sitting in that seat in the coming years. There's no question about it. And recognizing, of course, Simone Kavanagh, who is on my Prime Minister's Youth Council, and the many, in representing the many extraordinary young women on that council as well. We know there are young women stepping up in positions of leadership and taking charge right across the country. When we have that, the world becomes a better, more inclusive place. And things like a gender-balanced cabinet stop making headlines because everyone, women and men, take it for granted that women should have an equal place at the table. S'il y a une chose que mes collègues féminines m'ont apprise, dont ma propre chef de cabinet, Katie Telford, c'est que les hommes ont intérêt à passer plus de temps à écouter et moins de temps à parler. Donc sur ce, je vais m'arrêter ici et vous céder la parole pour prendre les questions que vous avez. Et merci encore d'être ici et merci de partager votre énergie, votre enthousiasme et vos idées avec nous. Je sais que nous bénéficierons tous de votre participation. And I really hope that you sitting in this room right now for a few hours will leave a vibe in this room that will imprint itself on all of us who sit here in our daily work to remember to be better, to be more ambitious for our country, for our communities, and to do a better job of being open to both different points of view and the full diversity that makes Canada great. Merci beaucoup tout le monde.
Thank you. Thank you, Alice.